I'm currently headed to Stansted Airport for a very early Ryanair flight to Palma Mallorca. I dropped the car off at the very convenient meet and greet facility, which I can highly recommend as it was really efficient. This is going to be the first leg of my 5-night, 4-flight, 3-destination last-minute European trip, but much more of that to come. Once inside the terminal, I found the Ryanair check-in desk and dumped my suitcase. It was so early there was very little open airside, but thankfully good old Wetherspoons was there for some breakfast. Can't beat a bacon, sausage and egg sandwich on a bloom of bread at 3 minutes past 4 in the morning. Passing through customs was an absolute breeze, and I was soon headed to my gate for my 6 AM flight. Now I know that Ryanair do get a bad rap from some people, but for the first of my flights I couldn't complain. Flight left on time and I did manage to get a little bit of sleep. It went as smooth as it possibly could, and after a quick 2.5-hour flight I was in Palma. And there was no issues getting through customs here. The whole process took about 10 minutes. And as I approached the conveyor belt, I could see my luggage going around. That was possibly one of the most stress-free flights I'd ever had. And there were plenty of cabs waiting outside of the terminal, which was perfect as I was going to be travelling less than a 10-minute ride away to a hotel in Playa De Palma. As I was only going to be here for 48 hours, I wanted the stay to be as local to the airport as possible. Playa De Palma is a very popular resort with many of the 5 million German tourists that visit the island each year. This is why my German friends say Mallorca is their unofficial 17th state. As my hotel room wasn't quite ready yet, I decided to head to the beach and then popped into Las Maravillas, which is a popular restaurant and cocktail bar. And after being awake for many hours, I decided to have a coffee while I browsed the menu. And the whole trip had only been booked a few days beforehand, so it was nice to get here and just relax. And now I was starting to get a little bit peckish, so I decided to peruse the menu. In fact, there was so much choice here, I didn't know where to start. Prices seemed fairly reasonable, the cocktail sounded delicious, it was just a little bit too early in the day. But in the end I went for yet more eggs, plus bacon, chips and bread. This was just what I needed to set me up for the rest of the day. And to finish off, I decided to have my first beer of the holiday, and it had to be Mahou. Well, when in Spain, why not? And I was going to be staying at the Leman Hotel and Apartments, which is situated on the street behind the seafront. Staff were very friendly and they looked after our cases while we went out, and you could definitely tell that this was a 4-star hotel. Everywhere was very clean and immaculately presented. And there's a great pool area with plenty of sun loungers too. I went for a standard 2-person apartment, which was absolutely spotless. Bedroom was a great size with 2 single beds pushed together to make a queen-size bed, which is very common in Europe. And opposite the beds was a large flat-screen TV. The bathroom was very modern, with a large vanity and a great shower. And there was also a kitchenette, which was ideal for making a quick bite to eat. And the living area comes with 2 large and very comfortable sofas and a pair of tables. and there was a balcony with a table and a couple of chairs overlooking a small courtyard. This was a great place to stay, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking for accommodation in this area. And after that I decided to head out back to the beachfront, where I was quickly making fast friends with the German holidaymakers. Unfortunately, their English was as bad as my German. And in other good news, there was a spa nearby too. Went to Pau Pau, which is another popular bar and restaurant, serving a great selection of different dishes. It was a little early for food, so I just went with a jug of sangria and watched the world go by, listening to a selection of German songs I didn't know and Dire Straits, which I did. Sometimes in life, all you want to do is to sit back, watch a sunset with a little bit of heat and just chill. Then headed over to the beach for the last of the day's sunshine. Then I went for a restaurant called Münchner Casa Bavaria. It was quite amusing when the waitress came over and started speaking to us in German, but she quickly came back with English menus. The menu itself was fantastic, with classic German dishes along with pizza and my favourite beer from Cologne, Früh Kolsch. And hopefully it won't be too long until I'm back in Cologne. If you're coming to Mallorca and looking for something a little bit different than the traditional British resorts, I highly recommend coming here. Really fancy the currywurst, chips and a pretzel, so that's what I had. And I'm going to be honest, it was absolutely fantastic. While my other half had a pretzel along with a schnitzel, egg and potatoes. And a short distance away from there is where the main party happens. The night was still young, so we ended up in a place called Deutsches Eck for some further beers, this time going for a Gapfelkolsch. And it was absolutely fantastic. This whole area was absolutely rammed with Germans looking to have a great time. It's easy to see why this resort attracts so many people as I wandered around here enjoying the lively atmosphere. It did really feel like we'd ended up in little Germany. And I'm very pleased to say that, as I had a really great time. And that concludes the end of a very long but fun day. Please join me in my next video when I head into the capital of Mallorca, Palma, to explore there. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on so you get informed every time I put up a new video.